Good afternoon, YouTube friends. Well, I'm back with this painting that we started last week, and I'm going to block in the rest of the horse so I wouldn't take so much of your time. I went ahead and mixed up the colors that we'll be using. Okay, so I will tell you what those colors are made of. First of all, we're going to block in the horse, and here's the painting that I'm looking at, and I'm copying. As I said, I did that one from a photo, but I don't know where the photo is, so we're using the painting as the thing I'm looking at. Okay, so we're going to start with the horse, and I mixed. This is actually just pretty much a plain white. Okay, and I'm going to put that right there where the reflection is off of the horse's back end. So I'm putting some white. Okay, and then it's kind of a little bit of a creamy yellow there. So I've already mixed that. I put a little bit of yellow ochre in with the white and a little bit of yellow medium. So I'm gonna bring that in like that. Okay, and I had a little bit of darker paint. Let's put that on there. A lot of times in the first coat I put on a painting, which I call the block in, I just use the basic colors, and then later you can add more highlights and darks. But right now we're just sort of doing the basics, okay? So you see how there's a lot of definition in this horse's leg. So we're going to come down with our yellow right in here and apply that. Okay, like that. All right, and then you see that muscle right there? Okay, I'm gonna do that real dark, but before I do that, I'm gonna come down with this light area. Okay. You may want to zoom in a little bit on your video to see this better. Okay, come on down to the very bottom. Okay. All right, now this muscle right here, I'm still using my white mixed with yellow ochre. Okay, I'm going to skip the dark areas for now. Well, I'm gonna catch this little bit of a light area here. Okay, like that. Okay, now we're going to come right over here to this part of the horse right by the blanket. And I'm going to put some white there. Okay, like that. It doesn't matter if you get everything exactly right on the block end because you're going to have plenty of time to alter that. Okay, let's come up here to the neck of the horse. I'm going to put some white and some of my yellow paint. Okay. Alrighty. And I'm going to leave some space right there for that to be the mane, which is black. Okay, let's come on over to the horse's ears. I'm going to put some of that same yellow on that. Come down over his eye, like that. And down the front of his face, or rather the side. Come on down there. All right. Then this part of his face, that part right there, is a little bit whiter, so we'll put some more of a little bit of white right in there. Okay. And put some right here. The main thing on a block end is you just want to cover all of the canvas. Okay, now let's go to the, well, let's keep working on the horse. Okay, I'm going to use some gray. I just mixed my white paint with black, and I'm going to put this muscle. You see that muscle right there? I'm going to put that. It kind of goes like that, and kind of like that. Okay, and then I'm going to put gray back here, right by the tail. All right, then it's a little bit lighter in here, a little bit lighter gray. Let's go back to a little bit of the yellow. Actually, that's a little bit of yellow with a yellow ochre mixed in. Okay. Kind of brush all that. Sort of don't make hard edges between the colors, kind of soften that. And gonna get some gray down in here. Like that. That muscle, you can see it defined right there. I'm gonna come on down the back of the leg where it gets darker. And there's a muscle right like that. And then get my little bit lighter gray and put that right there. If you get it too dark, just add a little white. Okay, and put some right here. Alrighty. Then we're going to do the inside of that other leg, the back leg, and that's going to be really dark. You see that? So, do this, like this. Okay. It's almost black right in there, okay? And it's pretty dark right there. But like I say, what I love about oil paints is after this dries and you see some things you want to change, you can pretty well change them without ever anyone being able to tell that you made changes. Okay, so we're going to do that, like that. I'm going to add a little bit more of the gray right in here and right here. Lighten that just a tad. Okay. Then you see a pretty good shadow right in there on the horse's back end. So we're going to come down like this and just kind of make sure there aren't any sharp edges on your colors that kind of soften all that. Okay. Now, we're going to make a more distinct right here where the leg goes like that, then it goes like that. Okay, this part right here needs to be a little bit fuller. So I'm going to do that. Make it fuller. And okay, then we're going to get it real dark right here at the underside of the horse. It's going to get pretty dark. And then as it goes up, of course it picks up more light, so it gets lighter. love horses. I think they have such beautiful, just their muscles are so, just so neat. Okay. Then there's going to be the part of the saddle that comes down there. We're going to skip some of that and go on to the other part. Well, I guess I didn't really skip it, but I'll have to come back in with the brown. Okay, now this other front leg, you see that front leg? Okay, so it's it's very dark at the back. Okay, and the front of that leg picks up a little bit of the sunlight. That, and a little bit more gray. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to come to the front leg, and we're going to put some of that yellow on the front. I may have gotten this leg a little too wide, so when I come back in, I'll cut it in with some more of that background. Okay, a little tiny bit of a front muscle. Shows right there. Excuse me. Now let's go back, excuse me, to the tail. Okay, I'm going to put some white right on the top of the tail and a little bit of brown. Okay, then a little more white in there. Like I said, the main thing on the block end is to make sure that the whole canvas is totally covered with paint before you start detailing it. Okay? All right, so I'm going to get it pretty dark right here. Ooh, a little bit of that. Okay. All right, now let's come back to the front of the horse. Okay, I'm going to put some gray there. This gets really dark here. And then his nose, his nostril. Then there's going to be a shadow where the bridle goes. Another shadow right there from the bridle. And let's have a little bit of shadow right there. Whoops, a little bit too strong. I'm adding a little bit of brown in there. I see I have some on the other painting. Okay. Now, I want to do this right here. I think I got that too white. Let's come back over it with some yellow and a little yellow in here and right here, like a just make sure your colors, like I said, are just real soft, going from one color to the next, not anything harsh. There's a little bit of a indentation there where that muscle is. Go like that. Okay. Then we're going to put a little bit of black kind of on the edge of his ears. Then we're going to do the eye. We're going to put some black right there where the eye is. And the eye kind of protrudes out a little bit. And there's a little bit of a shadow down here. I think my eye needs to be a little bit darker. Like that. Okay, now, okay, I'm going to put a little bit of gray right above the eye, because the horse's eye does protrude some. Okay, now let's get some pretty pure black for the mane. Make that stand out. Like that. And come on around. Like that. Okay, I gotta get this a little bit darker in here. That, whoops. I think I overdid it a bit, so you come back in and soften that a little bit, like that. Okay. Now I'm gonna put some brown where the bridle is. Like that. And some brown right here where the other part of the bridle is. It goes under his head, under this jaw. And I'm going to make a little bit stronger line on that bridle. Okay, now get some burnt sienna and the reins. One of them is on this side. The other one is on the other side of the horse. Okay, so I accidentally made them look like they're both on this side, so we're gonna knock that out. Okay, so okay. I put the wrong color on his hand. I still had paint in my brush. I wanted to put some yellow there on his hand. You have to keep dipping your brush in the turpentine to clean it. Okay, let's put a little bit of yellow there and a little tiny bit on his thumb. And okay. Okay, now we're going to work on his jeans right now, and I've already got some blue mixed up. I put cerulean blue mixed with a little bit of French ultramarine blue, and let's come down with that. Let's put a little bit on this back pocket. Okay, so this is where the sunlight is pretty much hitting the front of his jeans. So we're gonna make that pretty light. That. I love cerulean blue. It's such a pretty blue. Okay, we're gonna bring that down. I'm gonna put some of our yellow color that we've already got mixed up on the front of those jeans because that's on the side where the sun is shining. Okay, like that. All right, now, I mixed a little bit of the cerulean with a little bit of my burnt umber just to give me a dark color. Okay, and you're gonna have several creases. You're gonna have more creases, you know, right there where the knee bends. So we're gonna make that a lot darker. Okay, you see how it gets real dark right there where the jeans end. So let's do that. And okay, let me get a little bit of black in there, make that real dark. Okay, and come down there like that. Like that. Okay, that's a pretty good start on it. Let's come down here to this boot. I'm going to do a little bit of, I think I've got burnt umber and yellow ochre and some white. You know, you can just make those boots any color you want to, any color of brown that you want. Like that. Put a little bit of black on the underside. I think I extended it a little bit too far. So I wipe it off. Okay, let's see. Put a little more gray in there. Okay, then we're going to have a little bit of a spur. And let me see, I'm going to use a smaller brush, a brush like that. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of white and put a little bit of a spur. Like that. I can come back and make it stronger later. Okay. Now let's, let me get this. Come back up here. Sometimes you can just do better with your finger than you can with a Kleenex, but I'll take a little bit of that off. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to add a little bit. Okay. Right now, let's put a little bit of a hint of his belt. Just to make a little bit of that showing right there. Okay. Then we've got the saddle. I'm gonna go ahead, so I've got black on my brush. I'm gonna go ahead and put some black under here where the shadow is, and I'm gonna come down here, about there, and a little bit of really dark, like that. Okay, now, let's see. We'll put some brown. You can make any kind of brown you want. This is probably burnt sienna, burnt umber, and some yellow ochre. Make it a lot lighter right there where it catches the sunlight. Okay. And put some here. I like putting a little bit of orange in there. I think that adds. Okay, and then that part of the saddle. Bring that down. Down here, we're going to put on the stirrups. We're going to add some. Okay. And I'm going to put a little bit of a. Okay, we're almost done. Hang in there. Okay, we're going to come back up like there. And okay, then okay, now we're going to come down on this part of the saddle that goes underneath the horse, and there's a buckle, and that goes out, and then that goes under the horse. Then there's another strap right there at the front. You don't see it very well, but there's another one. Okay. Got that too much into the horse. Okay, now I'm going to take my smaller brush again, this one. I'm going to do these things that hold the parts of the buckle. Let's see, it goes that way, goes that way. Okay, and then one last thing, and that's the blanket. And I don't want to make it the exact color of his jeans, but I am going to use cerulean blue, and I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow in there. It makes it a little bit green, We'll come down like that. Take the blanket, and let's see. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of definition here. Well, like that. Okay, that's pretty much all we can do for today. But that does complete the block in. Now this part's already dry, but we'll come back and do more details after both parts dry. Okay? All right. See you next time.